reimagine, recreate, and restore is the theme. So restoration of ecosystem is prime necessity because we are just part of the all nature, which we are forgetting as a human race is more intelligent and they feel everything is under their control and all that. But it is basically we are just one part of ecosystem, one part of this environment, whole encompassing environment, and we can only grow within that system. If we try to overgrow, it is definitely disastrous, and that is what we are witnessing. So there is a large scale movement, but still I feel the science is not translated into action, where we forget things very easily, whatever lessons we learn due to, I mean, calamities, very disastrous calamities, and we quickly forget all those things and start plundering the resources or living in a very unsustainable way, which will come back to you in various forms of pollution, various forms of ailments, cancers, emerging infectious diseases, other physiological impairments, all those things. So it's indeed a problem. So I think I will not give my, because you all know about it. I will proceed to my lecture. How much time I can have, by the way, for the lecture?
So you can have 40 minutes.
40 minutes, yes. I'll try to finish it
okay,
within 40
no problem,
minutes.
no problem.
Yeah. So, shall I start sharing the screen now?
Okay, sir. You can start sharing.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Yeah, this is, I have prepared it like this, living in the era of climate change, because maybe soon we will be also into an era of pandemics, because the way the virus is mutating so fast. I mean, I'm basically a microbiologist, mostly looking at pathogens, not viruses, bacterial pathogens, and their antibiotic resistance, virulence, survival, and things like that. Anyway, well, I'm also interested. I'm basically love to deal with nature science or the understanding systems, and I'm personally, to some extent, live close to nature, which I feel very, very refreshing and very, very, you know, a nice learning process as such. So we'll move on to the next slide. So we'll initially see, yeah. So there are some basic questions about, climate change. So the first question is whether the climate change is real. There are now, I think people are convinced, but still there are people like, former US President Trump. He was simply saying there is nothing like warming and all those things. And when American president says that, it is actually something very, very, because he is considered as the most powerful person in the world. I mean, considering the geopolitical issues or the political setup of the world. So he was saying there is nothing like that. There is no need to spend much money on climate change or all those things. We will come back to that later. So the basic question is whether climate change is real. Then the next question is it anthropologically driven? Whether it is a man-made thing or whether it is something just part of the natural glaciation, deglaciation, or freezing and warming periods, which are happening around 12,000 years cycle. It happens like that. Whether it is the part of a natural warming period. Then, what are the signs of climate change? There is another basic question regarding that. And then the other part of it, how costly is the damages? Very, very important question. It is costing huge, which we will see later. So then whether we can prevent it, whether if it is, yes, it is man-made and all those stuff, then whether we can prevent the thing. And what would be the best strategy to live in times of climate change? What we can do as an intelligent animal or intelligent being, understanding the intricacies of nature, understanding the issues, how best we can, what will be our strategy to live in these times of climate change, because it is real. We will see that later. So how can we contribute our bit? What we can do, if at all it is anthropo-driven, or we are living in an anthropocene, we can say. because we are the human are impacting the environment in all spheres of life, both living and non-living part. So we can say it is an Anthropocene, or which is the era which is influenced by the Homo sapiens very significantly. And so how we can contribute our bit is the question. Then the basic question whether climate change is real is it real is a question asked by many people. So where there are two schools of thought. I mean, like the one which is including even Trump says no, and there is a scientific community. I mean, very many eminent scientists which they are saying yes, there is climate change. There is clear scientific reasons to say there is climate change. So science says yes, it is there, and without science, everything else is fiction. Because science is, I'm a fan of science, no doubt about it. I love to practice science. I understand some aspects of science which are very useful in setting things in my life. And the science is the only thing where there is a repeatability. You can actually set and experiment and see things are happening. Of course, you will not be able to, large scale climate processes. Like you can only predict a cyclone. You cannot actually make a cyclone because you definitely don't have the resources to pump up that much energy into the atmosphere, create a cyclone, study the thing, difficult. Or you cannot recreate a mass flood and see how much area is going to be under inundation, how much is impossible. But still, a lot of mesocosm or microcosm experiments will be able to be performed and understand what is actually happening. So without science, everything else is fiction. Science is the only thing which is working, which is testable, which will, if you test it under standard conditions, it will give the same result. For example, just for an example, I'll say we are now talking about, again related to environment, ozone hole. So we understood the ozone is eaten by the CFCs, and CFCs, once it reaches very inactive, inert at the lower atmosphere, once it reaches the upper atmosphere, in presence of it get very active, it start using the ozone, then ozone layer get thin, and the UV infiltration is more. What we did, we phased out CFCs. It took some time, but we phased out CFCs, and now the ozone hole is closing in. It is actually by 2050, it will be the ozone concentration in the upper atmosphere, stratosphere will be equivalent to the pre-industrialized times. So science will definitely work. There is no doubt about it. Then, what are the vital signs? Do we have any vital signs of climate change? Whether, if you are talking about that point of view, whether there is something like that, whether there are signs of climate change. Yes, you look at the global temperature and you see this is maybe up to 1950s, or see after 1900s, the pickup is like this, very, very rapid rise in temperature. Otherwise, it was like almost, you can say it was the natural warming cycle, but post 1900s, the scenario is different, where it is an accelerated warming, which has got a very clear. You see this graph. You see here. You see here. It is almost CO2 also not much, but post 1950s, you see a drastic increase in the CO2 emissions to the atmosphere. We are pumping a lot of, we are burning a lot of fossil fuel, using energy, because development is measured in terms of per capita energy consumption. So naturally, people tend to use a lot of energy. So it was fossil fuel is the most convenient form of energy available to human. So we are using it, and we are pumping CO2 into the atmosphere in large scale. Now you see the rise in temperature is almost matching with the rise in CO2 emissions. So there's a clear-cut link between CO2 emissions and the rise in temperature. So the signs are very clear. So even now you see science, when we see CO2 emissions are the thing we are now looking at, a lot of non-conventional energy sources are being tapped, and I myself have a solar plant which almost meet my capacity for my requirement. There are a lot of wind power, tidal power, all those renewable forms are being, considered or tapped in order to reduce the dependence on fossil fuel. The other day, I was reading an article in Business, and they said that the most important industry which is going to go up is electric vehicles. EV is going to be the future. I mean, it is just racing ahead. I mean, many countries, UK has declared that 2025 there will be only after 2025 there will be only electric vehicles, and many countries say between 2025 and 30, many countries the entire production will be shifting to EV, no fossil fuel driven things. I think that's going to be very real. You can even look at Tesla's. Maybe you can look at Tesla. Elon Musk on the Tesla's share prices and all that will be going off the roof just like that because the projections are so great. Okay, so here vital signs of climate change. Again, you are seeing apart from the CO2 related rise in temperature, you are also seeing the rise in temperature is leading to melting of ice. And this melting of ice is leading to sea level rise. You can see this is 2010 coastlines. You can see this is the projected 2050, which is quite up. And this is 2100. I think I'm from an island called Waipin Island because I'm really, feel 2100 weather Waipin. How many people will be there in Waipin? Now itself, I can see both the sides. I mean, the west and the east side of Waipin Island is inundated on a regular basis. Many places, people are all the time in water. They can't get out. I mean, without wetting their hands, they can't get out. So I'm seeing the change. I used to visit beach. We used to visit the coastal because I'm interested in nature. I just go walk around. We ourselves have lands which we don't have any coconut trees now. We were getting quite some coconuts. All those things are gone. It is inundated. Of course, we were not replenishing it with sand. Even with sand, I don't think the inundation happening in the coastal belt is huge. And you will see 50% of world population is along the coastal belt. I mean, you see all big cities, either in India, if you take from Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Cochin, Vizag, all those places. And if you go to other places like Rotterdam, Los Angeles, Sydney, everywhere, Auckland, all the Wellington, all big cities, Tokyo, everywhere. I mean, because it is the development of human race. If you look at, they will be settling in coastal places because there is a transportation initially, then water access and all those stuff, and developed, and a large number of people are there. Where there is a massive displacement from the coastal belt and many small islands. I personally been to several small islands in the Pacific, like Fiji Islands, Solomon Islands. Vanuatu Islands, Tonga. I mean, they're all on priority list for evacuation, priority list for emigration to New Zealand and Australia. There are many people are migrating because these are islands with 10,000, 20,000 people. And these 10,000, 20,000 people are, facing an existential problem. Kiribati Islands, the other day I've seen, Kiribati Prime Minister standing somewhere in the Arctic and he's saying this melting thing is just sinking our island. We are driven out of our countries, out of our land by the climate change. So there are clear signs of sea level rise. Small island nations are facing the threat much more serious, and it is always the poor people are bearing the brunt much more seriously than other people because they don't have the resources to fight with resources to escape the onslaught. And you see, I myself have a project in the Arctic as a microbial diversity as a function of climate change. I've been in 2009. I led the expedition in 2009. After that, I went in 2011, then 2016. Right now I have a project funded by National Center for Polar Sciences, which we are looking at the thing. We have several publications. See, if you look at the ice cover, this is the ice cover. some time back, and this is the ice cover in 2020. This is 2017. It is simply the ice. We are talking about the land-based ice is shrinking, as well as Arctic is an ocean where the sea ice is simply shrinking, and many of the routes, it will open up several shipping channels from Europe to the other side. Now they're going to be like this. It is going to be much easier. They will save around 6,000 to 8,000 kilometers when this channel opened up. This channel is almost through. I've done some trial runs. Only thing they are now feeling whether the frequent transportation or frequent movement of the ships through those channels probably they pollute the environment much more. That is another concern. Anyway, so here, this is again another thing I personally seen. I put some images at the end, and we will see now. Just see some extreme weather events happening as a function of climate change. See, this is Kerala floods, August 2018. I think almost everybody in Kerala felt the pinch of or the pain of the floods, Maha floods. It is known as Maha floods in Kerala Maha floods, because it is a kind of 1 in 100 years event, but in the Earth history, 100 years and all just nothing, because Earth is 4.5 billion years old. That is 450 crores of years. And the life is around 3.5 billion years. That is 350 crores of years. So that means within that, Earth history, 100 years and all, just nothing. So that frequency, since we are living only 100 years or maybe less than that, we feel, okay, this is a very, rare event. It's not a, but you see, such events are happening with much more frequency. I'm just putting some images of recent climate-related disasters. So this is Kerala floods, August 2018. We have all seen this everywhere. Of course, in that scenario, Waipin was better off because we had two exit points, one at Munambam and one at Fort Cochin. So through which water was going to the Arabian Sea, but still it was getting stuck because there was extreme high tides in the sea, and which was not allowing the water to go easily into the thing. So there was a rise in the canals in Waipin, but still it didn't rise up much. After 2 days, it started, getting normal, and we didn't have much problem. But of course, along the both sides, coastal belt, there were issues. People who were evacuated and all that. I am just very close to the central part of or very close to the main road, where it didn't affect much. But we have seen the people of Kerala put in a tremendous effort. They themselves coordinated without any direction. They simply, did everything to safeguard, save lives. And because my feeling by looking at the events, I was feeling large scale casualty. But it was, a miraculous effort by the people of Kerala. They managed it so well. And another thing which surprised me, even WHO, after that, I was personally surprised when I see there was no outbreak. No, there was no waterborne diseases, because my research is mostly on food and waterborne pathogens. So there were no outbreak, because every natural disaster will be followed by an outbreak, because systems will be collapsed, sewers will be broken, it will be inundated, and you see with this much water, probably sticking to some very basic habits of Keralites, like drinking hot water all the time, and making at least personal hygiene and all those things probably help them to avoid an outbreak, which was even WHO was surprised to see that there was no outbreak post Kerala Maha floods, right? And this is, we have seen all these images where, in many places, water were in the first floor or second floor or like that. So you see here, this is Cyclone Florence, which is, this is 2018 image, North Carolina, South Carolina, US, and 1.5 million displacement. That is 15 lakhs people. This very recent Yas cyclone, tropical cyclone in the Bay of Bengal, very recent, I mean, just May last, we have displaced nearly 11 lakh people. That is 1.1 million from Orissa and West Bengal. And the casualty we were able to manage very nicely. There was just 1 or 2 deaths or 3 deaths. That's all. People were, massive evacuation has been taken place. Even central government was projecting there should not be any death. That was the warning given, because the satellite oceanography or satellite imagery is helping us in following the course of the cyclone, the likely hit on the coast, and the impact, the speed, many things we can stop it. We can predict. We can actually, take the disaster management things, and we are actually getting better and better on that aspect, because that is the need of the hour, I feel. Because even if you stop using or releasing CO2 into the air immediately, it is not going to stop. The impacts are not going to stop immediately, because already there are quite something. So the management part, disaster management part, or which is going to be the key in order to safeguard the life. But the other destruction, material and property, you just can't stop it. It will simply happen. Only otherwise, you need to have climate resilient structures, which probably help in to some extent. So this is Cyclone Florence, and this is Typhoon in Japan, September 2018. This is, you see most of them, if you see something here, then it will say it is the biggest in the history so far. That is the scale of events which is happening right now. So this is Typhoon in Japan, September 2018. This is most powerful storm to hit Japan in 25 years. Lives 11 dead. You see the kind of cars being dumped by the typhoon. Huh? Just like it's just like toys, Then see, I was there actually just before August. I was in August 2018. I was in Japan for participating in. I took my students also. It is sponsored by Japanese government. International Marine Biology course at the Sado Marine Station in the Sado Island of Japan. Just before that, there was a flood and around 200 people died. I think there is an image later. So here, you see these wildfires in California, 2018, biggest in the history so far. 2020 was still bigger. I'll show you the images, 2020 later. So 2018, biggest in the history so far. And this is, Hiroshima floods. I was there in July. So Hiroshima floods, Japan, June 2018. More than 200 people dead, right? You see here, tsunami 2011, Japan. It is all Fukushima, all the nuclear power plants were shut. I mean, many of them, now only they are actually, this Fukushima plant, they are trying to, there are a lot of trying to reoperate. I think there is some resistance from Japanese people. It's all shut down because Japan is having climate resilient structures, but they never thought something will happen 9.2. This is the Richter scale is up to 10, and 9.2, 9.3 Richter scale magnitude. When it happened, because Japan is an island, it is surrounded by the sea, undersea earthquake with such a magnitude. We have seen the planes were simply floating around. The ships were simply, so many ships were dumped within deep into the land. And you see, this is tsunami 2011, a huge casualty, right? And we have seen in 2004 another one in our coast. I mean, Chennai, even Kerala. In our village, there 4 people died in Advanaka at that time. So 3 lakh people within 10, 15 minutes, or more than 1 plus, or nearly 2 lakhs from Indonesia, Jakarta, that region. Simply vanish within a matter of couple of hours. This is Hurricane Maria 2017, Dominican Republic. This is a very poor country and with very little resources, and casualties are very high. This is 2018 Australia, wildfires in Sydney. You will see again, I'll see another one. See, this is in 2020. You'll see, they say that this one, they said around 1 billion species. I mean, like all micro, macro, invertebrates, everything put together, they say more than 1 billion species eliminated. I'm not talking about number of species, number of individuals. There's so many things. They died. There were very, videos, people trying to save koalas from the trees because they can't do anything. They're just, hugging the tree and staying there and getting burned, and they cannot move faster. And we see people taking them from the trees and, putting ointment or putting them in towels with water and trying to save. This is 2018 Australia. See, again, we all heard about the fires 2020 in California, wildfires in Australia 2020. Very recently, when I sent some of this flooding scenario in our place to my friend in California, he is there in California. Then he said, "Dear Hatha, can you divert some of the water to this side because we are, like in the frying pan. We are actually it is drought and fires are becoming more and more, and we are terribly short of water. And many places they are actually short of water. I recently, during my visit to Antarctica, we had a stopover in Cape Town for a few days because till the weather is getting clear, the flight will not be chartered to Antarctica. So there, I was just initially the hotels you go for eating, there is no running water. It is simply spray. Like you put the spray on your body, it is simply spray will be coming out from the taps. You just put your hand like this and then wipe it with a tissue. That's all. No running water. That kind of scarcity is there. So then, so here, when a wildfire reaches epic proportions, it changes everything around it, even creating its own weather. Scientists around the world are racing against time to understand them. That's what I said. This community of scientists, they are actually trying to understand how the morning discussion they said there were somebody was asking like these tribals they know how to put out the fire in jungle fire and all those things much faster. They understand what is the direction of the wind much more quickly than our systems, and they do that. But whatever traditional knowledge could be learned and practiced is fine, right? So, and the other scientific means how to do that. We might have seen the helicopters pumping blobs of water over the fire, but just doesn't work, because it's so huge. And this is heavy snowfall in Austria, 2019 January. One of my teachers was there is actually almost first floor, second floor, there were ice. It is everything, it's a kind of extreme weather. Extreme weather is happening everywhere, all over the globe. When we are in Kerala, we say that no, we are affected last year, this year, maybe even 2019. This is becoming the scenario is the same all over the world. Everybody is getting affected with the climate extremes. So here, this is our, very recent 2019 Oki. You see, we have lost more than 300 people there. This is a severe cyclonic storm, and it was actually the moment, right? You see, it was very close to Kerala coast, and we lost heavily in terms of human life. Of course, the structures and other things are secondary only, but human casualty was very high in that case, right? And this area, you see, I'll just come back to that. See, another one, very recent, Tokte. See, landfall was somewhere in Gujarat, this side, but we also had very severe rain in Kerala, Cochin, and because it was moving almost closer to Lakshadweep. You see Lakshadweep Islands here. It was moving like this, but we had heavy rains here. And my house and all, it was a heavy flooding. So, see, this area, basically this Indian Oceans, this is Arabian Sea and this is Bay of Bengal. This is our west coast, this is east coast. This tropical cyclones, typhoons, or twisters, or whatever you say, all same. They were happening in this portion only for quite some time. But if you look at this massive heating or this accelerated heating is pumping a lot of steam into the air, which is taking into a kind of low pressure areas, and then it is sucking up all this air masses, massive steam which is coming out from this ocean, is sucking everything into the eye of the storm and moving like this and hitting and destroying things like anything. This is climate. Now this is a private agency which is predicting, and we are all looking at it very often now. And you can see here, this is Yas. The other one is just finished, and immediately within a week, the other one started on this side. These are all very unusual. These were not there earlier. So this is much more frequently it is happening, right? So here, This is cyclone, yes. This is our Indian coast, and it's we know it hit somewhere in the Orissa coast and then Bengal, but the human casualty was much less. So here, if you look at this, are extremes becoming more frequent? You can see that this is definitely for sure. It is becoming. You see the chart. This is a bar chart where you can very clearly see this is 1980s, and you see 2015 means just 20, 35 years. 35 years is just nothing. In geological times, it is just seconds. You see the events. The only thing which you see the geophysical events like earthquake, tsunamis and all, though there is an increase, not that serious, but there the magnitude is very high. There the damage they cause is very high. If you look at the meteorological events, weather-related events, tropical storm, extratropical storm, and local storms, they are all actually increasing quite considerably. If you look at this green patch here and the green patch here, very high. And also you can see hydrological events, flood and mass movement, which I think Kerala people are now quite convinced. There is not much attraction for waterfront property now. Maybe people selling, or there is actually the market is down for waterfront properties. So if you look at the hydrological events, then it is actually again both these things, meteorological and hydrological events are on the rise. And also you can see climatological events like extreme temperature, drought, wildfire things, which are also increasing. So it is a very convincing picture that the extreme weather events are increasing and it is becoming much more frequent. Now we will come back. So we have seen enough images which reconfirm the present understanding that the extreme weather events are happening much more frequent. Now we'll come to the science part of it. Is it anthropologically driven? Yes. Confusions remain over glaciation, that is ice age and deglaciation, warming period. This is what some people who are arguing against it, saying this is a part of just glaciation, deglaciation thing. Currently we are in the warming period and that is what. But no, accelerated warming since 1900 linked it to human activities. No doubt about it. I've shown the image, the carbon CO2 release, greenhouse gas. And there's also other greenhouse gases like nitrous oxide, methane, which are much more powerful, but not as much in concentration as CO2. So accelerated warming since 1900 linked it to human activities. There is no doubt about it. Increased fossil fuel burning is the major culprit. Now we'll see here. You can see the global mean surface temperature from 1880 to 2017 relative to 1951 to 1980 mean. See, I have heard people talking about, no, there is no warming, no increase in temperature and all those things because last year it was cool. Now this year it is not that hot as last year. But actually, we should understand that for the global mean temperature, measurements are made over 36,000 destinations, points on Earth, and the mean is taken. And that mean very clearly shows there is an increase. And then there are different models, very many models which are actually projecting what could be the temperature rise, because these projections, these modeling and projections are very important. And these projections, we don't want to meet these projections. We don't want to see our Earth is heating up like this or heating up like this. So we say, considering the forcing agents, like what is climate forcing agents, like CO2 emissions, if the CO2 emissions are likely to go in the present level, then it is going to be like this. So what we'll see, okay, CO2 you try to cut off, methane you try to cut off, NO2 you try to cut off, you try to achieve, your projections are very important for us not to see the projections happen. See that these projections are not happening. These calamities are not happening. We will take all the scientific means to control or to keep the emissions down. As I said, 2025, 2030, many countries already declared, they are going to be completely electronic vehicle. There will not be any. There, UK very clearly said that we don't have. I mean, even in US probably still go on for some more time, but many other countries. So here, so signs of climate change, what we have seen, frequent occurrence of extreme weather events like heat events, heat waves, droughts, wildfires, cyclones, heavy snowfall with floods, heavy snowfall alone. So these in different parts of the world, different things are happening. Sometimes we say drought is happening spoiling the entire agricultural crop just like that. Sometimes untimely rain is clearing everything, spoiling everything. Okay, then the other side in the marine, the ocean acidification and related to species extinction. When large scale CO2 concentrations there in the atmosphere, it start mixing, it is actually the oxygen in the water, to some extent it is actually mixed from, it is miscible from air. It is getting mixed into, and also there is quite some which is happening as a result of photosynthesis process, which is a very important driver. Similarly, lot of CO2 getting absorbed into the seawater, then it becomes carbonic acid. And when it becomes carbonic acid, the pH of the seawater becomes, from the alkaline to acidic, slightly start dropping. We are seeing, for us, it is not a big problem because we are not organisms with the calcareous shells. But if you look at molluscans, if you look at a lot of organisms with the calcareous shell, they are unable to form their shell. If you look at coral reefs, I encourage everybody to have a experience of coral reef because that is one of the most beautiful ecosystem I have ever seen. It is simply, breathtaking. It is simply amazing to see the variety of colors. It's a riot of color of different species, different fish, and everything is so colorful. So when ocean acidification happens, it's already happening. A lot of coral bleaching is happening. Coral bleaching means it is not, just getting white. It is basically losing its a symbiotic partner, which you known as root sandal, which will be detaching from the coral polyps, and start looking white, and then decreasing crop yield, and basically all these things threat to food security. If the oceans cannot provide enough food, see, I'm organizing another panel discussion on World Ocean Day. We have a very powerful speaker from UK. He is the CEO of Just One Ocean, because the oceans covering 2/3 and providing a lot of food and ecosystem services. Even we are able to live on this earth because it is 2/3 water. If it was less than that, we will not be able to, because ocean with such a huge quantum of water absorb the heat, or they are the major heat engines which regulate, and they are moving. They're from the tropics to polar, sinking there, coming back to tropic, from tropic to polar. It is a global conveyor belt, energy conveyor belt, transporting energy from tropics to polar, and regulating the atmosphere and weather patterns. So when such a serious decrease in crop yield and acidification and decline in food, we all know that there is a clear-cut paper from CMFR saying that this oil sardine, it has become much less, and these are all a threat to food security. You can see here, this is a drought in Kerala. This is an Odisha farmer. Kerala is not a big agricultural thing because we have very small land holding, very little places except some Palghat, Kutnad, and some areas we are actually depending. Now, I think one good thing which I see, people at their personal level, at their home front, they're actually raising a lot of vegetables and other things in small terrace gardens and other things, which all contributing. See, suppose you are making 10 bindis, ladies' finger, one household is making 10 or 15 ladies' finger. 15 households mean it is 1,50,000, ladies' finger, and 15,000 households is just nothing when you look at the population density in Kerala. So everything counts. It is very significant production, I feel. And this is an Odisha farmer, and you can see abandonment of populated areas due to rising. These are all small islands, small islands, oceanic islands for sale. Some people I have seen even recently, He is a very rich fellow. He was in, I don't know him basically. He came from, Middle East. He was in a very good job, made a lot of money. He said he wanted to do an aquaculture setup in some island like setup near Mandro, Turuthi, Kollam and all those things, and invested heavily. I don't know whether the current floods has taken on, because I have seen many people, they reported loss of fish stocks, and many people living in such small island. When we look at this is a Kiribati island, this is in the Pacific. I had several students from Kiribati. They're all very poor people, resource limited setup. In this country, there's only coconuts, nothing, not even a single mango tree there, only coconuts. The place with only coconut trees, nothing else. These Kiribati islands, you can search. So these all, when we look at this is a coral island, all these are coral. This is a lagoon. So these, when we look or see from a distance, they look very beautiful. But the real scenario of people living there, actually, really, they're suffering like anything. They're abandoning areas because of the rising sea levels. And this is my own picture in the Arctic, where the glacier. I'll show you some glaciers. Glaciers are melting, and when the glacier is melting, a glacier is nothing but a river of ice. It will not be flowing like a river. It is a massive sheet of ice moving simply because of its weight and gravity towards a lower point, like Arctic Ocean. Then once it starts melting, all that water goes into the ocean, and the water level is the level. We check water level to see the level of a surface, because water simply starts spreading. So whatever melting in the Antarctic and Arctic simply come to the ocean and simply rise the sea level, and the rising sea level will seriously affect the coastal cities, coastal human dwellings, small islands, all of them very, very serious. And also the saline water intrusion into the freshwater resources in the land, which is a major threat. When a lot of large-scale, massive infiltration of saline water into the land, the freshwater resources within the land is getting, contaminated with salt, or within, we cannot drink that. You need other setups. So anticipated effects include rising sea levels, changing precipitation, expansion of deserts in the subtropics. This is happening. And warming is expected to be greater over land than over the oceans, and greatest in the Arctic. I've seen it personally. 3 times I've seen, with the continuing threat of glaciers, permafrost, and sea ice. So what are the possible societal responses we can do? We are convinced that we are living in the era of climate change. So mitigation, emission reduction, which we are planning, which we have Bharat 6 or whatever regulations, emissions, we are, strictly monitoring. But it all, takes, this is a step. This will work, but this is not going to work immediately. This is going to work after some time, but you keep working now, because we are not going to end with our own lives. So ours, future generations will come, their next generation will come, and it is like we have to live. So that is actually one Norway's prime minister is said, you should live on earth with the feeling that you are living on the resources that you borrowed from the future generation. So when you borrow from the future generation, you have a commitment that whatever is there, you borrowed, at least that much you leave it and you go. If you can leave the capital with some interest, excellent. Then the future generation will be better off. But there is something called, Earth Overshoot Day. Earth Overshoot Day means whatever resources available for spending for 1 year on planning them. Yes.
Mohamed Hatha ji, time is nearing.
I'll be stopping in another 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Right.
Sure. So the other things will be just imageries. So here, emission reduction is one thing, and this is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. This is to prevent the dangerous anthropogenic climate change, and global warming should be limited to well below 2 degrees centigrade. This is what people are trying with the help of various models. India has got a center at IITM, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology. India has got several research centers in IITs. Most IITs have got geoscience, oceanic science centers. Indian Institute of Science, IISc Bangalore has got a very good center for such kind of modeling studies. And another thing is the mitigation is one part and then adaptation is another part. You building systems resilient to climate change. And climate resilient buildings, climate resilient systems you build, and you also do climate engineering, right? So if you look at the disaster management strategies, see pre-impact, you can do capacity building. This is in the mitigation and preparation part. And post this thing, you have emergency restoration and reconstruction. This is response and recovery part in the disaster management post-disaster thing. You do this pre-disaster, you do all those things and hope for the best, right? So here, so this concern about climate change is increasing world over. The global survey by Pew Research, this is a very well-renowned research center, reported 50%, 54% of respondents considered it's a very serious problem, and significant regional differences exist. But the thing is that China and US are least concerned. Now I think under Joe Biden, they are becoming much more sensible. But Trump was, because this preparation was in last year when Trump was in the president. Also, it was actually, and China, I mean, recently there was a lot of massive movement world over is taking place to speak up against China. I had one speaker, he's a big fellow, Sadish Kumar from IASC. We were together on certain platforms, and he said, see, in the UN meetings, if you ask about China, they simply, you know, if you raise some issues, China simply don't listen. They simply don't mind. They have such a clout. They have such an economic cloud, and almost every countries are depending. Now, many people are trying to dealing from the economic trap which China has set, and they're trying to, you know, escape or trying to resist to some extent. So this is, say, this is what, this is 25,000 crores for Kerala first 2018. That's what he projected, maybe up to 40 lakhs, 40,000 crores. So this rise of climate inaction is huge. Very, very huge. So economics of climate change, if you look at the amount of money you put in for climate restoration or climate mitigation, will be paying you multi-bagger, will be paying you much more in terms of the loss due to disaster, because that is in trillions. The other one probably maybe in billions, but it is going to be a huge price for the inaction, climate inaction, it keeps going up. So this is what we can see. This is damages. And you see it is huge here, right? Climate inaction and climate action. This is damage, this is the inaction. It is much, much more. So we will see, is the increase, it is definitely man-made. There's no doubt about it. This is actually what we have seen in the Arctic. This is my own pictures from the Arctic showing how the glaciers are running into the, you know, into the ocean with much more, because we are just setting some geolocators, some you know, thing to identify the movement of the glacier. He's from geology. He's setting some. I'm just not getting the name of that instrument. So it is a kind of instrument which displacement will be next year. They will go and again monitor, see the displacement, how much it is moving away. So this is ice sheet which has gone away, and you can see the boulders grow, I mean, carried by the glacier. And that's all. I think I will stop here. Thank you everyone for this opportunity. And I think here, where is us? Yeah, I'll stop here now. Any questions, please?
Yeah, my dear friends, you can ask questions to Mr. Mohamed Hatha on any questions with respect to climate change.
Yeah, Dr. Hatha.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Dilip Madhavan from Petronet LNG.
LNG. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a very informative and beautiful session. We enjoyed thoroughly, actually.
Thank you.
The question which I have is, there is a lot of negativity when we talk about the climate change and the environmental presentations.
Yeah.
Is there any hope or anything positive which is happening which you could share so that everyone feels a little positive about the environment?
Yeah, see, this climate change and disaster itself is an opportunity. A lot of people, coming up with the climate resilient technology, building up industries, non-conventional energy systems, electronic vehicles, and also on natural side, I'll say positive side. See, if I go to Arctic or other places, see, ice-covered areas are being, uncovered. The ice is melting and the areas are becoming arable. The areas are becoming where primary production is taking place. It is producing a lot of stuff. So, but the overall, if you look at, there is a huge, economic cost. We are experiencing it. Very clearly we are experiencing it. So it is. But that doesn't mean that it is, every disaster is also an opportunity for people who think and people who want to find solutions. But we need to accept, first of all, we need to accept that there are issues. If we say there is no issue, if suppose we say there is nothing much is happening, these are all just simply, so we will not think about solutions. So we are having these problems, we are accepting these problems, highlighting these problems in order to overcome it in a much more efficient manner, right? That is only I think.
Sir,
yeah, please.
Sir, my next question is,
yeah.
Sir, I am Abdin Ahmad from FACT, Senior Manager Safety. My question is, you have told that in 2018, we have survived. There was no much outbreak of diseases, but today we are facing the COVID second wave. It is spreading faster than anything. What is the reason?
Yeah, definitely. So one of my pet topic is emerging infectious diseases and re-emerging infectious diseases. Actually, this kind of events are predicted in the 1990s, mid-1990s. See, if you look at before 1950s, the microbial diseases were taking off around 90% of death. Cancer and coronary or the heart-related issues were much, much less. Then we invented, we have discovered antibiotics. We have invented sanitation. We have invented disposal mechanisms. We have provided safe water. We have invented vaccination. And all those things, once it happened, we thought we are winning the war against germs. Well, we thought, germs, we have conquered the germs. But there were clear signs since I have a presentation. There is clear signs in the 90s that antibiotic resistant organisms and certain organisms which are mutating at more than expected level are causing problems, and such incidents are going to happen in the future. It was predicted in 1990s itself, but the CDC has predicted it. CDC, I mean Centers for Disease Control, USA has predicted it. I prepared my presentation based on CDC stuff, but even then they also didn't thought, it is like not going to be that real. See, I'm telling you, if we talk to, say, my father expired in 2018, died. If I tell him that, like now we are all closed, shops are closed, no train is moving, no vehicles are moving, do you believe? He will not believe. No, things have taken that kind of situation, and the power of microbes. See, I'm in the field of microbiology. I have a lot of antibiotic resistant organisms which are mutating like this. Viruses mutating much, much faster. I'm really not surprised by this event. I felt this event actually what we were presenting in those presentations or those things ditto. Typically, it is happening world over. I can share my presentation. Similar. I just shared it with one of my cousin doctor. He is a leading doctor in MIMS, Calicut. When I sent him, he said, Hatha, this is something like a prophetic presentation. It is nothing of my own. I prepared based on the resources and I presented it in international conferences, but now we are witnessing it. So the power of the germs, you cannot undermine. The power of the viruses, even now I feel we are in for a pandemic era because the frequency with which the virus is mutating is much concern to me. It is definitely a concern to me, and the economic disasters associated with it is actually really, really serious. So it is not linked with a flood or natural disaster, nothing. It is a kind of another dimension. It is a pandemic driven by the microbe, invisible enemy. You are not seeing it. You are putting a mask without seeing it. You have no idea about whether the virus is hiding anywhere. But science telling you it is in the upper nostrils, it is in the respiratory tract. So you talk, you sneeze, it might come out and it might fall onto the bench. It might get onto your hand, dress. So you put this thing, you sanitize, you keep a social distance so that it will not reach the other person. So this is nothing to do with the climate change. The climate also issues there. Like, I'll tell you. See, if we go to the workers, the migrant workers settlements, you go there, what is the systems they have? They have shackles which are very poor amenities, and their breeding place for germs. Lot of horizontal gene transfer taking place among these microorganisms. See, in our case, my genome is transmitted to my son or my daughter. Their genome is transmitted next. It is only vertical transmission. But if I have an E. coli and Salmonella, E. coli can happily pass it over to Salmonella, or this virus can pass it over to this one. The virus is picking up from anywhere, right? Or the bacteria is picking up it from horizontally. And such environments where human crowding in cities and where in places where humans are in close association with the animals, like in Southeast Asia, we are living in close association with poultry, close association with the pigs, close association with cattle. The jumping of this enemy, the microbe from animal to human is very real. This is the reason why you are eliminating all the poultry. When you detect a bird flu, you are killing all the pigs. When you detect a swine flu, this is it.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, my dear friends.
Yeah.
We will be moving to the next session, Lightning Hazards by Colonel Sanjay Srivastava. Thanks, Mohamed Hatha, for being with us on this World Environment Day. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Hatha, you have to de-share.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen, desktop. Yeah.
Can you see the full screen?
Yeah, full. Yeah, it is not full, sir. Yeah, it is not full. You have to. Yeah. Okay, sir. Okay.
Firstly, thank you to the National Safety Council Kerala chapter, and in particular, Mr. Ramesh, for inviting me and giving this opportunity to share my thought about the lightning hazard. And I am also enlightened to hear Dr. A. Mohamed Hatha, Professor of Marine Biology, CUSAT. It was very enlightening session, and I learned a lot. And I will request Professor Hatha, if he can be there for the rest of the period when I am presenting, because I am taking him for a good journey where few things are there and we'll be, enriching each other in terms of knowledge and its adaptation.
I'll be definitely there, sir. I'm listening. I'm sitting.
Thank you so much, sir. Lightning, as we know, is a hazard. We have a Lightning Resilient India campaign with the India Meteorological Department, Ministry of Earth Science, and Climate Resilient Observing System Promotion Council. This Climate Resilient Observing System Promotion Council is a non-profit body affiliated to the Ministry of Earth Science, and we are into observations of all the parameters through satellite radars and oceanography. As far as the lightning is concerned, we have initial impact, initial action on saving life, for which we are into early warning, and there is a very good app, Damini, which is there. Do's and don'ts. Whenever there is rain, never stand under tree. You will be surprised to know that more than 2,000 people in India die due to standing under tree during rains. So if you don't stand, you will be saving around 2,000 people in India. And mitigation, that is a lightning protection. In India, at an average, as per the National Crime Record Bureau, we have more than 2,500 people who lose their lives due to lightning, who used to lose. This is the lightning data for the past 57 years. And you will see amongst all natural disasters, 33% death is due to lightning. 33%. You see flood here is 14%. Rest of the things are much below. Cyclone, earthquake. And more than 70% people out of them die due to standing under a tall tree. And that is why this is our tagline. Throughout the presentation, I'll keep showing you. And I will be happy if I can drive this point home that after this presentation, no attendant will be standing under a tree during rain or thunderstorm. And I'll request them to educate their family members, friends, and societies. As far as the lightning is concerned, we know it's a natural phenomena where the electric discharge of very short duration and high voltage takes place between the sky and the earth. The very basic phenomena, whenever there is warm earth, the moisture which comes with the rain or local evaporation, that acts as a convection. It is something akin to like when you take a hot plate and you put a cold water over it. What is it? There is evaporation. So same analogy here, the hot earth surface, when it comes in contact with the moisture, which comes via the cloud, the convection starts. And once it shoots up fast, around 11 to 12 kilometers, it converts into ice, and there is friction among ice droplets, and the charges form, the positive charge and the negative charge. I must tell that Earth is positively charged. So these negative particles, they travel down whenever they find a conductive medium in between. When the clouds are low, even positive charge come towards the Earth. So in this, there is one lightning in the cloud, which is called intercloud lightning or intracloud lightning, and the one which comes towards the ground. This is called cloud to ground lightning. Lightning, as we all know, it's common with the monsoon, hailstorms. A large number of states have declared this as a state-specific disaster, including Kerala. The impact of lightning, as I showed you, is two-way. Once it comes vertically. So this is a direct strike we call. And after vertical strike, it is something again, I will compare it with water falling from a distance. Water falling from a distance, it comes to the ground, and after that it goes sideways. This is called lateral strike. So large number of farmers dying are due to this lateral strike. As far as the lightning in India is concerned, it is hill, jungle areas lightning, river basin lightning, coastal lightning, and urban/semi-urban lightning. You will be happy to know that our God's own land, the Kerala, is blessed with all types of lightning. The states which are landlocked, like Madhya Pradesh and all, they do not have coastal lightning. But Kerala is lucky one. And right throughout the year, I'll show you in my research, I have observed that Kerala gets lightning almost throughout the year. This is the urban lightning, especially people living in Kochi, Trivandrum, in the urban areas. You will see a lot of infrastructures, and these infrastructures, they absorb the lightning. So there may not be large number of death in the urban areas, but there are huge electrical losses which are yet to be measured in a country like India. And this is the rural lightning. In rural lightning, you will see a vertical rod coming and then going sideways in the horizon. So you have a vertical strike and then you have a lateral strike. Why this? Because there is a lot of open land available. And this is what is the coastal lightning, which Kerala having coast all along gets it regularly. As far as the lightning is concerned, the contents in a lightning is there is electric charge, there is electric intercloud flashes, there are cloud to ground flashes, there is sound from 1 to 30 megahertz, and the energy there is around 250 kilojoules. The current generally is 30 to 180 kiloampere. In vertical strikes, these currents are 30 to 180 kiloampere. In lateral strike, they straight away go down by at least 90%. So if a 30 kiloampere current is striking, the lateral current will be 3 ampere. Its impact, its injury to living being by electric shock. You heard elephants dying, failure of electrical and electronic components, physical damage, and this is the way it damages you. The current flow through a human body may cause respiratory problem, ventricular fibrillation and cardiac fibrillation, vascular contraction and burn. You focus on this picture. You see, this is the lightning strike coming and there are circles. These circles are basically circle of voltage. First circle is of 9 kilovolt, second is of 8 kilovolt, third is of 7 kilovolt. As a human being, if your legs are separate, on one 9 kilovolt, second is 8 kilovolt, this difference is called step voltage. And this difference of step voltage, more the distance, more is the step voltage and more is the current you get. So that is why you must have seen the animals, when they get electrocuted due to lightning, they even jump off the ground and they collapse. There are impact on your ear diaphragms and you get deaf. There are problems in your heart and your heart may stop due to lightning. So with this, I come to the Lightning Resilient India campaign, which has patrons. The Director General IMD is ex officio part of the patron, and we have various important scientists from premier institutions, IAS officers, and the environmentalists. Our aim is to reduce lightning deaths by 80% in 3 years. Our vision is lightning safe India through our comprehensive multi-pronged innovative approach, which is short-term as well as long-term. And we aim to have a resilient India. Our first aim is to stop death immediately. And this is what we are doing. And I will be taking you through all our actions in this presentation. And this is the climate change adaptation for environmental upgradation. I would like to emphasize here, especially for the people in the hazard safety and environmental industry, and especially for esteemed persons like Professor Mohamed Hatha, that lightning is the extreme promulgation of environmental degradation. All these climate change forcing agents, deforestation, your depletion of water bodies, rise in the sea, global warming, carbon emission increase, ozone layer depletion, pollution, and many such things. They all are contributing to environmental degradation. And the lightning is increasing day by day. In my subsequent part of the presentation, I will show you how it has increased in Kerala between 2019-20 to 2020-21. There has been more than 25% increase in the lightning, which is the extreme promulgation. There are a lot of myths which I would like to clarify here. Lightning never strikes twice in the same place. It does. In fact, lightning has become so intense that distance between two successive strikes has reduced to nano microseconds, and it is difficult to decipher between two strikes, and they are very rapid. So nowadays, a new term which we have coined is carpet lightning. Same area, you will find large areas getting lightning. Similarly, if you are stuck in a thunderstorm, being under a tree is safe. No, not at all. You should never stand. Cars are safe because the rubber tires insulate them from the ground. No. Cars are safe because they are Faraday's cage. Faraday, we all know he was a scientist, and he came out with this formulae for which he was punished also, but he was brave enough to propagate his theory. That's a separate story. Lightning victims are electrified. If you touch them, you will be electrocuted. I'm sorry, no. No lightning victim carries charge for long. It is just flash of second and it just goes off. If you don't see rain or clouds, you are safe. Lightning often strikes more than 3 miles from the thunderstorm. We'll teach you 5-second rule in subsequent part. If you're outside in a storm, lie flat on ground. No, I will teach you what to do. A house will always keep you safe. Yes, a pakka house is the safest, but a house with metal roof, that is tin or any metal object, is not safe. There is a proper earthing required in the house to be safe. Surge suppressors can protect a home against lightning. Yes, they do. And I'll come out with the solutions. I would also like to identify here who are the people who are getting affected. You see, 96% rural people get affected. This we have found out in our study. There are 70% farmer, 34% women, 35% children. So in our campaign, they are our prime target. This is our sample study, and not only deaths, injuries, all the children who live in the lightning prone area, they suffer from a mental retardness. They are always scared, so their pickup level is low. Lightning impacts tribals. If you see the tribal India's lightning map and this tribal population, it is very similar to that. There is a lot of death of animals. And again, my point, when lightning roars, never stand under a tree or outdoor. We have lightning safety IC materials. We have circulated it to the government of Kerala. We'll be going through twice during my presentation. Why? Because anything repeated has a better impact. We must educate our villages, educate our children, the panchayats. We know in Kerala, panchayats are very strong, and it must be mainstreamed with the panchayat. These are our lightning safety leaflets. Kerala has this, and Professor Mangal Das and Professor Pradeep Kumar and others, we are partners. In fact, Professor Mangal Das is my guru. He is my teacher, and we have learnt all this from him and implemented in other parts of the country. Lightning safety, it is not part of the school safety plan. I will request Government of Kerala and all to do this. In fact, through World Vision India, we have taken this to the school. Now coming on to the safety part. There was a myth you should lie flat. No, you should sit in a couch position. This is called lightning safety position. And your heel should be together. Why your heel should be together? If it is separate, then you will be making step voltage and you will get electrocuted. If heels are together, lightning will just go away. And you must close your ears with both the palms. Then the deafening sound will prevent you from being deaf. A football field is not safe. Car is safe. Lightning protection device is a must. Coming on to the early warning, I would like to apprise that Government of India, in fact, I was the one to develop lightning forecast system in India, and I have seeded it with the Government of India, India Meteorological Department. But before lightning, there are a lot of natural signals which come. It's a cumulonimbus cloud, the black cloud, whirling cloud, which comes, the thunderstorm, hailstorm, squall, heavy rain, cloudburst, tornadoes, hurricane, cyclone, they all bring lightning with them. So these are the indicators. But there are also dry lightning. I must tell you that lightning is natural discharge phenomena, and every day at 7:30 Greenwich Mean Time, the discharge of negative charge towards Earth takes place every day. And it's more pronounced in the equatorial region. Whenever lightning is close by, there is charge in the atmosphere, you get goosebumps, your hairs rise, and you feel. And there is 5-second rule. If you see the flash, light travels faster than the sound. If you see the flash, And if you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if you hear the sound and you can count 5, it means lightning is 1 mile away. If you can count up to 10, lightning is 2 miles away. If you can count up to 15, lightning is 3 miles away. That gives you reaction time. So this is the 5-second rule. We have come out with combination of radars, satellite, and automatic weather stations, a combined product on lightning early warning through app which is known as Damini. I will request all to, if you want to be safe from lightning, please download this app, Damini. It is available in the Google Play Store and it is for both Android and iOS devices. DAMINI. You must download. It's in 2 languages, English and Hindi, and it's being developed this year now in the regional languages. We have also for farmers Meghdut. This is again by the India Met Department and the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, and this is for farmers. I must tell, when the farmers topic has come, lightning is a boon to farmers. It is nature's blessing that we need nitrogen in the soil for increasing the fertility. So before the cropping season, the nature brings lightning so that the nitrogen which is present in the atmosphere comes down and mingles with the soil. This particular process is called nitrogen fixation, and it is a blessing. We must have lightning. This is the website of India Met Department, www.mausam.imd.gov.in. We all get every information on lightning about it. And IMD gives you 3 information: 48 hours outlook, 24 hours outlook, and 2 to 3 hours nowcast. And with this, you can inform this SDMA, State Disaster Management Authority, can keep districts informed. District authorities can inform panchayats, and this 2 to 3 hours thing can be, this is 100% effective, and this should be used to save life. And operationalization of early warning, it is very important that we educate people by generating interest, synchronize with Emergency Operations Center and State Disaster Management Authorities. Network of weather enthusiasts. Kerala has a lot of weather enthusiasts. In fact, Cochin has the only one Chemical Emergency Operations Center in the country. So that CEOC, Chemical Emergency Operations Center, should be connected to all the lightning early warnings, and it should be disseminated through media, TV, smartphone, community watchman, miking, and crowdsourcing. Your Kutumbakam scheme, your crowdsourcing scheme, use of social media, Kerala being a literate state, this is the best you can do. Now coming to our research, we mapped for the year 1920 entire lightning in India. If you see, there are 2 hotspots. One is this along the Bay of Bengal, and second is Kerala. If you see Kerala, entire Kerala is very strongly lightning prone. And if you see all the quarter wise, first quarter, April to July, second quarter, August, September, third quarter, October, November, October, December, fourth quarter, all 4 quarters, you can see Kerala gets lightning. If you see the number of strike wise, then also Kerala always figure. Though its geographical area is small, but Kerala has large number of lightning strikes. If you see Odisha and Madhya Pradesh, they are the highest hitting lightning strikes straits, but we have Kerala, which had 4,23,000 strikes in year 2019-20. If you see lightning vulnerability per square kilometer, Kerala is on number 2. After Lakshadweep, it is Kerala which gets maximum number of strikes in per square kilometer area. If you see population wise, yes, Kerala comes down and Kerala is on 22nd rank. So your 79 people, are prone. Number of lightning strikes per person is 79, and national average, I have shown you, it's 102. Number of lightning days we have. So this shows which month, which day of the month, first, second, we are trying to map the pattern of lightning, and this is a 5-year study program we have undertaken. So in this, we have also measured lightning resilience. Fortunately, Kerala is one of the most lightning resilient state in India. But yet, our aim is to reduce the climate change extremity. We have also connected this with thunderstorm. And if you see, compare Kerala with other states, here the Kerala in particular, it is. This is how lightning takes place in Kerala. If you see month-wise, you have April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. November is the highest lightning you get. Your December, January, February, March. So there is not a single, except January here, where you had Zeno strike in 2020 January. Every month you get the lightning strike. This is your population vulnerability. You can see your how high population density, and you can see the lightning prone zones. This red one is the most prone, but entire this blue and entire area is lightning prone. Similarly, your mining industries. You have large number of mining industries, and these mining industries, their pollution is locally contributing. This I am giving you a broad picture. We need to go for microzonation of this climate change impact. It will be different in Kochi, it will be different in Kottayam, it will be different in Ernakulam, it will be different in Palakkad. We need to do microzonation of the study, which I have the data, and anybody collaborating, I am ready to support. Similarly, industrial and economic impact is phenomenal. Kerala does save life, but still you have a lot of life which you lose, a lot of animals die, and which every strike you have phenomenal electrical losses which you incur. If you go death-wise, this is the National Crime Record Bureau data, and as per which in 2019 you had approached almost 40 deaths. So this is quite high. I will request everybody's attention towards this. This is what the Telangana is, this is what Tamil Nadu is, this is what Andhra is. And if you go lightning month-wise, seasonality, it is different than Kerala. And if you compare all of them, you see Kerala, you get lightning throughout. Other states, it is not so in these months. So there is a clear-cut difference. Kerala gets lightning every time. If you see number of deaths, average I have taken out. Kerala, this data I doubt, because this is a government data and Kerala has been shown as less death, but I am afraid you need to correct this data. But yet, death is death and every life is precious, and we must try and save life. We must do capacity building. These things I have shown you. Lightning mitigation. It's very important that we must go for lightning protection. If you go to the very basic principle of physics, we have 3 types of lightning protection system. One is the principle basic Franklin rod, which is here, which has a top conductor on top and a down conductor and earthing. This you can do. Then you have lightning conductor arrestor, that is lightning conductor is as per IEC 63205, that is the Indian system. But we also have ESC emitters, that is lightning arresters, and there is a difference. Lightning conductor is a passive device and arrestor is an active device. So I always advocate you should go for an arrestor. Whenever you install a lightning conductor or arrestor, it should be highest point. You can see it is this point is highest, especially with respect to the house and the trees around. This is what we are doing for other people and we are designing. This is the basic Franklin rod. This is what we have done. Where is the cycle rim, this rim, and you can see the wire mesh, which is creating a good metal top. You can also use your plates, metal plates, and there is a minimum 14 millimeter rod, which is brought down and earthing is done through a proper method. And this is a local device which can be made for farmers. And this is being used in many parts in the country. This can be also used in the schools. This is picture of the Bengal. This is a picture again in Bengal, this picture in Assam. These are the local made devices. You can see this rim, you can see the thick rod which comes. Only thing is precaution. When lightning is there, a child or any person should not go close to the earth, pole. They should stay away, but yes, it does make safe the area. We have also created proper lightning arrestor based devices, and we have created lightning safe cities, lightning safe school, lightning safe village. And for the best practice in 2019, Andhra and Odisha were given the Lightning Resilience Award. Andhra had brought down deaths by 60% and Odisha brought it down by more than 50%. The outcome so far, there has been significant awareness about education, lightning and awareness. Case study and remedial measures have been taken. Scientific mapping of lightning is being done by us, and we wish to set up a lightning map for every state of India. My annual lightning report is accessible. It is in public domain, and it can be accessed by the researchers and the government authorities. For privates, it is chargeable. This is our website. We are providing technical support to people. We have also started reverse modeling of climate change. How to get back to a situation where the global warming can be reduced, whereby forestation, we can increase the forest cover, we can increase the water cover, and we can reduce the temperature so that the occurrence of lightning is reduced. We can reduce the extremities of climate change. So our way forward is impact-based innovative early warning to community, conduct lightning safety training. We are conducting training for community, especially for vulnerable communities like farmers, women, school children, cattle grazers, fishermen in rural area, hills and tribal area. We are also doing audit of the state, district, industries, and any institution. We have also into the village lightning management program. We are also into innovation, research and development. We take students for research and they are funded by the Department of Science and Technology and Ministry of Earth Science and Indian Space Research Organizations. And we have 32 research projects as of now going. We adopt climate change grassroots level adaptation in many areas, and we wish that state government and the academia can partner in this journey. This is where I end, and now the house is open for the question, please. Over to you, sir.
Hello, Colonel G.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, sir. 1 minute, Abdin. Colonel G, you had given the details of Kerala. Through your presentation only, we came to know that Kerala is having all types of lightning. You have mentioned around 5 types of lightning, and we, the people of Kerala, are getting all the 5 types. And also the National Safety Council Kerala chapter is ready to support the move to educate the students, and also all the panchayat also we are ready, and we support the move, sir, and you can also communicate the same. And over to members to ask questions.
Sir, good evening, sir. Hello.
Good evening.
Hello, sir. You have mentioned about the structures, metallic structures in the house is not safe. Is reinforced concrete RC building house is that lightning safe?
See, RC building per se, as far as the roof is concerned, it is lightning safe. But there is a method of installing lightning conductor or arrestor in a building and making it safe. That will be better. If a lightning strike falls even on a RCC roof building, due to dampness, you may have currents in the wall, and your house electricity inside the house may surge more and cause damage to the electrical devices. I must tell you that in Kerala, one of the very senior officer's wife, who was inside a RCC's house, and it was lightning outside, she was on her laptop, and the lightning strike took place, and this lady got her brain affected. very, very senior officers, I will not name here, but she got brain paralysis. So you even in a RCC house, you are vulnerable from the vertical strike as well as from lateral strikes through windows, doors. So you should not also stand in verandas when lightning is there. You should close your windows and doors. I hope I have answered you.
Sir, very informative, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome, sir. Any other question?
Yes, Colonel Srivastava, it was very useful, especially the last answering which you said on veranda, you should not stand and close the doors. Actually, I never felt it because I used to stand on the veranda and, if the windows and all are mostly open. But anyway, I'll take care of that aspect. We thought because we never get that feeling that it is that serious. Only off late we have seen the mortalities due to lightning strike is much high. But I see something which I have noticed in Bihar. When we say the cyclone, they say 50 deaths per day, and like that I have seen. So why it is that kind of large number of deaths in one particular, season or event?
You see, this was the 25th June event of 2020,
Yes.
where the good forecast was there on 23rd June that the monsoon is coming, there is very heavy cloud building, and the India Meteorological Department had personally, the local chief had gone and informed the government that you should do maximum awareness.
Yeah.
But what had happened, it was lockdown time and most of the laborers had gone back, and they found this as an opportunity to go for farming. So firstly, the early warning which was there did not go up to the farmers. And when this cloud comes, they strike the Himalayas, and from there, Nepal, it's foothills of Himalaya in the Nepal, and comes down to northern Bihar, and it traveled down to North Bihar, to South Bihar, Jharkhand, eastern UP. So it was like the death started off early in the morning around 7:30, and till evening 5:30 it continued. And if you take together, this death was more than 150 people dying.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
highest in
That's what.
Bihar, it was, though official figure is 103, but it was more than 124 in Bihar. And other states who took precaution, they could save life. And within a period of 25th June to 3rd July, Bihar had almost 250 plus deaths. So it is very important that you should be using the early warning and educating people not to be outside. And another thing in Bihar, the housing pattern. Now, most of the people live in kacha houses or the huts, unlike, place like Kerala where you have RCC rooftop houses. So people living inside the rooftop houses, all this Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, in 90,000, what will they do? So they just put tin over their house and they get stuck. So these multiple causes were there. We have advised Bihar government, we have given them all the data. In fact, every time they call me, the neighboring state of Jharkhand, we have made lightning safe villages, lightning safe cities. I hope Bihar should adopt such good practices. That is only I can say.
Yeah, it's very important for them, even, like the SDG's recent release, Bihar is at the bottom. Probably these are all counting to their rating coming down. And in
That is why,
such, yeah.
yes, sir, please go ahead.
Sir, what is that lateral lightning you told?
Lateral lightning, I told that once it strikes vertically, then it spreads all around in the open area. If there is a wall, it will collide with a wall and it will not spread beyond wall. So lateral lighting in urban areas, it does not spread to bigger area because it gets absorbed by the infrastructure. But in rural areas, since it's vast open field, so it spreads to larger area. And that is why in Bihar, you found large number of farmers. The death on this, there was 97 to 98% death was of farmers. and out of 98%, 74% death was of children on 25th June. So that's another thing that, employment of child labor in the agriculture is in very high percentage in Bihar. Over to you.
Thank you. It means if I make a compound wall, lightning will not go out. Is it like that?
If you make a compound wall, the lateral strikes will not travel beyond your, beyond your wall. And old days, another good thing, like we have gone on long-term practices, government of Odisha, Jharkhand, northeastern states, where large number of trees are being planted. If you remember old days, every house used to have coconut trees or big trees in front, in the background. So these trees, even if lightning strikes, the energy is dissipated among the trees and you do not get, electrocuted. So those tree plantation practices which we have missed out, that should be also started, especially in village areas. And Odisha has gone in a big way now for long-term planting of trees, so that firstly they absorb the lightning, and secondly long-term they create a congenial environment. And we have a project going on in the Gir forest of Gujarat also, where this is happening, where large number of trees are being planted, water bodies are being rejuvenated. So if you do all these measures and this climate change forcing agents are, their extremities are brought down, the result will be less lightning. My annual report is supposed to come on 16 June, where I will be showing a comparison that in each state in India, there has been an increase of 25 to 45% in lightning. So Kerala is a state with very high human development index. It is double the rest of the India. Yeah. So Kerala still has the impact, but lesser impact than less than the other part of India. But still, there is a huge scope that we should contain the climate change, adopt the grassroots level adaptation measures, and reduce extremities like flood of 2018 or flood of 99 years or lightning strikes. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. What is this, sir? Lightning arrestor and lightning conductor. You shown two photo, lightning arrestor and lightning conductor. What is that?
Lightning conductor.
Difference?
Yes, lightning conductor, as per the Indian, International Electric Code 62305, which is followed by the Government of India. This is a lightning conductor device where, conducting device is on top, basically made of copper, and it is brought down through a down conductor and proper earthing is done. So this device is called lightning conductor. This is a passive device. And in this, if the lightning strike, touches the conductor, then it meets the, then lightning is earth. I will just, can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the conductor. This is the conducting material. If the lightning strike touches it, then it will bring it through this down conductor and it will be earthed. But in an arrestor, this device is basically a ESE, early stream emitter. It radiates positive charge cloud all around, and an umbrella of positive charge is created. So whenever there is a formation of negative charge or lightning, before it converts into light and sound, it will arrest and it will earth. So there will be no light, no sound, and it will be earthed. The arrested voltage parameters will be displayed here digitally. So you will come to know that this much of lightning has been arrested. But as per the Indian National Building Code, this has not yet been adopted. But in my practical practice, I have used it and I have found it very effective and a better device in large number of cases. So I advise this device needs a lot of maintenance. This device does not need much of maintenance. And this is a active device. This is a passive device. So choice is with the client what to do. I will not go into the commercial battle because in India this is a very, very strong commercial battle, and being a person from the scientific background and armed forces and government entity, we would not like to get into commercial battle. But as a person, in my individual advice, if you ask, you should go for this. One good lightning arrestor costing around 3 to 3.5 lakh rupees can save an area of around 1.2 to 1.3 square kilometer, which is sufficient for a house of around 10 to 12 houses. 1.4 square kilometer is a big area.
Sir, one thing I'd like to
Sir,
ask.
one arrestor, one village can protect.
In a village, if you need 3 to 4 arresters, because you need to also protect from the side flashes, lateral flashes.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, one thing I saw that cycle rim. Sir, what is the use of that cycle rim?
You see, the basic fundamental principle here is, you see, you should have a conducting device on top. So this conducting device on top, this is a metal. If you have money, you can spend, 1 lakh rupees for a conductor. If you have money, 3.5 lakh rupees, you can go for an arrestor. But for a poor man in the village, a farmer, especially in other parts of India where at times the cost of house is much less than the cost of lightning conductor or arrestor. So you need to create some local material which they can use. So that is why I have come out with a innovative thing where this metal cycle rim, you can see a lot of thick wire which is also meshed here. This is working as a top conductor to attract the lightning, and there is lightning 14 millimeter thick rod which is brought down, and this earthing is done. You can see here in this school, this is here, then wire is brought down, and it is, you can see the wire very clearly here. This is the, so this is what I'm teaching people, that you can have a metal rim on top, have wire meshed here with minimum 14 millimeter wire, it will not melt, and a metal wire which should come down, and a earthing minimum 5 feet should be done. This is what the general ground, what I am teaching people. So,
sir, how much area does it cover, sir?
Generally, it is 45-degree shadow area. So if you have a 40 feet high mast, then you will save 80 feet area is a safety area. So especially in a hut, or in a small village school, you can put it and save, So this is a not as per technically correct, but this is a poor man's lightning conductor.
Okay, sir.
Sir, how the apps helps? You mentioned about an app.
Yes, the app is something very good, which is the Domini app, and this app gives you early warning at least 40 kilometers in advance. When the lightning is 40 kilometers away, it gives you lightning warning. So this is the thing you can see here. Can you see this?
No, sir.
Domini app on my mobile. Oh, sorry. Can you see? Sorry. This is the Domini app. And you can see in Delhi, now lightning is around. So it is showing me 40 kilometers away. Then it also gives you details about lightning. What is lightning? It also tells you do's and don'ts. What to do, what not to do during lightning. So
Sir,
it is a comprehensive app. And
the lightning is coming in within 5 minutes. That we have to know. How
that will tell you. This will tell you at least 30 minutes in advance.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Is there time? Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much for the nice presentation, especially for both the presentation and especially Colonel Sanjay Srivastava about the lightning. You also, paper also reported about the elephant electrocution, etc. So is it something which can be prevented is one thing which I want to ask. Second thing, even the ground floor houses need to be having what we call this innovative electrical arrestor, or is it something we can specify 2-storied or 3-storied or any storied we have to do that? Thank you.
Thank you. So 2 questions basically. One is the elephant death. How can it be prevented? And second is the single story house also requires lightning
Exactly.
arrestor or conductor? I hope I have understood your question correctly.
Yes, very correct, very rightly.
You see, wild animals like elephants and all, they live in their own grove. They have their own moving track. They have their own areas. But as far as the lightning is concerned, we have the early warning. And if you have the early warning for 48 hours, that is 2 days in advance, there are definitely ways and means by which you can drive them away from the endangered zone.
Okay.
And this proactive action should be taken. In fact, in 2019, I had gone to Kaziranga and I had trained them.
Okay.
And as of now, what has happened in Assam, despite all theory, I differ, you know.
Okay. Right.
I hope you have understood what I mean to say.
Right. Thank you.
Because elephant is a big animal.
Yes.
Huge animal. And I showed you the current ampere, what we have found over there, highest was, 3,900 ampere. Firstly, the location of lightning strike is around 80 kilometers away.
Okay.
And even if lightning strike is 80 kilometers away, 3,900 or say 4,000 ampere current, if it travels, the first step voltage will be reduced by 90%. So it becomes 4,000 becomes 400.
400.
And 400 traveling for 80 kilometers, I doubt it will be able to, it is so powerful that it can knock down an elephant. So I have a very strong scientific reason. And no, they say it has struck the, elephants. No tree is burnt, no leaf is burnt, and there is strong bleeding. In lightning, you get electrocuted. The bleeding is such that it seems there has been very sharp, cuts. So I have my strong reasons, but no issue. Second question about the house. You see, lightning strikes the highest object.
Okay.
And if your house is in an open area, barren open area, and even if your single-storied house is the highest object, lightning will strike single-storied house.
Also.
But if your house has neighbors with double-storied, 3-storied house, it will strike the higher houses, that is double-storied or triple-storied. So vertical strike will be on the highest, but there are lateral strikes. So you should also prevent against the lateral strike. And for lateral strike, we recommend surge protection device. This is SPD. Havel is a good company. Anchor is a good company who make it. Wherever your main connection is coming, you buy this instrument, surge protection device, and you install it there. This costs around 5,000 to 10,000 rupees maximum, depending on the electricity load of your house. And you must install SPD. I again say surge protection device, that is the SPD. And you can prevent regular, electrical losses, like you lose, your TV goes off, your fridge goes off, your microwave oven goes off, your laptop goes off. That can be stopped by installing this surge protection device at your individual, meter where the current is entering your house. So I hope I have answered you, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a very, very convincing answer. Thank you very much.
Sir, this lightning 400 ampere will travel 80 kilometers, or this answer was not clear?
Yes, I showed you in my slide that between 2 rings, there was a difference of 1 kilovolt. So 400 ampere traveling to 80 kilometers, I do not think it will maximum travel 200 meters, or say in worst scenario, best conducting material, kilometer, but not 80 kilometer.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sir,
Can I ask
one thing
just one
I'd
question?
like to ask.
Yeah.
Hello.
I
Another thing
I
I will
was
ask,
in
you
this.
all are, you all answer me this. You all are from the land of elephants. You have a lot of elephants in Kerala. When the animals get struck by lightning, generally their legs and all are stretched, and they go upside down or sideways. Did you find these elephants or any elephant in this picture which we got? Anyone stretched legs or stretched body?
No. Yeah.
None.
No.
That's a very strong point. The moment lightning strikes, your blood, is dries up, contraction, muscle contraction takes place, and your legs and hands get stretched. And you have very clear marks, blue marks, black marks, and you feel it, you can see it. And there are even tree-like structures when lightning travels inside your body. That is, imprints are made. So such things were not there.
Sir,
Now,
this rural
one
and
thing
urban
I'd like
lightning,
to ask,
what is
sir.
the difference, sir? Urban is in the city and the rural lightning is only in the village?
no, lightning is same in the rural or the urban area. But in urban area, I showed you that there are a large number of buildings. And these buildings, they absorb the lightning vertical strike. So there is no lateral spray. But in the villages, there are a large number of open areas. The vertical lightning strikes the ground, then it spreads along the vast open land. So this is the difference. Lightning is same, but the impact is different in urban area and impact is different in rural area. I hope I have explained you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. In urban area, we have the compound wall, so it is inside the area. In
Just
rural,
one question, sir.
open, so it goes out.
Yes.
Is it correct? Thank you.
Yes.
Just one question, sir. Like keeping, trees around the home is a good strategy or it's a poor strategy? There are big tall trees around the house.
We always say that our forefathers were very scientific and good. And they always planted tree around the house. And scientifically, it has been proven, sir, that it is a good practice. And we must have trees along the house, all around the
Thank you
house.
so much. Thank you so much. I've kept a lot of trees around, so I just know whether they're conducting and sometimes strike down or I just cut it out. So
You
that's
are
why I
lucky,
asked.
sir. You are lucky, sir. You are a practical environmentalist.
Thank you. Yeah.
Sir, one question, sir. I had attended a webinar this few months back, I think, and there were something about this ESE. I'm recently graduated electrical engineer, so I have to go through these things. I went through a webinar where it said that ESC devices are banned all over the world, and then if they are banned all over the world by IEC, then what is the point of advocating it? Is it that the world is recently unknown about ESC devices, or we are falling behind, or what is it, sir?
In fact, during my lecture, I told, when I was comparing the arrestor and conductor, I told very clearly that I do not want to get into this commercial battle. Being myself an electronics, man, and having saved the Indian radars, Indian Air Force, Indian strategic installations, making safe villages. In fact, this is one of the recommendation of mine to the government, that all sorts of lightning protection devices. There are many types. One is traditional Franklin rod, which I showed you. Second is the Faraday's cage. Third is the lightning conductor. And fourth is the ESE devices, LPI. They all should be permitted in this country. And this lightning conductor, which is in India, that is old technology. It is similar, like earlier when you used to get a problem in the heart, people used to go for bypass surgery. But now you are going through angioplasty. So in India, still in lightning, we are going through the bypass surgery. We have not yet adopted, but all the good companies of India, like Parliament of India, strategic installations, Bharat Heavy Electricals, NTPC, Bharat Electronics, they all have gone for ESC devices.
So
So
does
there
this
is
mean
nothing
that the
banned in
government
India.
is cheating us?
No, somebody says it is banned, it is wrong. Government has not banned it. Our National Building Code, just it's a guideline that you should go by IEC. In fact, I have a written reply from the Bureau of Indian Standards that they have never banned, you know, IEC ESC device in India. In fact, I can share that with you and you can use it, you know. And this is a mispropaganda by big lobby. India being a lightning prone, one of the most lightning prone country, a tropical country. India is a big market. So big players from Western world, they want to dump their class 2 stuff to India, and they want they don't want us to use the high quality devices. So
Sir,
this is
it
my
sounds to me
personal
like
view.
that we have been cheated. Like as an
Yeah.
Indian citizen, we have been cheated this way.
And our own consultants who are there in the country, they are cheating us, you know. I'm sorry, but
that means they are recommending the ESC devices or what, sir?
they are recommending the different devices. You see, it is a knowledge gap. As a student, when you are an electrical engineer, please study both the devices. And I have given my email ID. You can interact with me. You please do an independent study, what is there, and you will yourself find that both the devices are meant for lightning protection. And there is no device which is banned in India. Though there are at times newspaper reports, there are some webinars being carried out by each, I know, but I feel this is a commercial battle where intellectual class or people, you know, professional people like you and me, we should study and undertake our own judgment, what is right, what is wrong.
Yes, sir. Actually, my professor also once told me the same thing. Like he told me that ESC devices are not actually scientifically proven. So I took this from my professor, and when I came to your lecture, I heard a different thing. That's why.
I will share the technical literature, what it has, and you can go through it. That is why I say this lobbied thing, this has not come into our education itself. So when you come out of the educational institute, you carry this, you know, big thumb rule from your, you know, esteemed teacher that so and so is banned. But I would like to, you know, communicate with your teacher also that this should not be taught to the students.
So have these ESC devices any scientific or experimental verification or ratification, sir?
There are a lot of scientific verification, and I can only tell you that Parliament of India, Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the World Trade Center in New York, they all have ESC devices, not the Conductor. I hope it answers you. I hope I have answered you that if best of the people with best of the technology, the Eiffel Tower, the World Trade Center, the Burj Khalifa, if they have lightning ESC devices, you can check it on Google.
So can you kindly share the evidences? Then the people get you know satisfied with your answer.
Absolutely. In fact, these are available on Google, Burj Khalifa Lightning Protection System. You will see.
No, scientific. I mean scientific verifications.
Absolutely. You can give me a email ID. I'll share that with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear friends.
And I would again like to say here, I am not advocating for any commercial purpose. You as a person, you are supposed to go through it, see what is right, what is wrong, and you adopt. In my personal opinion, I find as per the structure and the affordability and the environment, you have to go out of the 4 lightning protection system for one of the system. But you must have a lightning protection system. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, I now invite Mr. Dilip Madhavan to propose vote of thanks.
Good evening, Dr. Ramesh. Am I audible?
Yeah, audible. Proceed.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Ramesh. So on a lighter note, some of us might have got a message in WhatsApp saying that today, by the end of today, we would have planted some 20 crore trees through WhatsApp status. So that is what the position is now. The National Safety Council Kerala chapter is in the path of a reformation by means of improving the quality of trainings and bringing in quality trainers and speakers from across the industry and academia in the field of health, safety, environment, and fire safety. The Safety Council Kerala chapter now has a brand new committee under the leadership of Sri P. Pramod, the Director of Factories and Boilers, who is also the chairman of NSC, and Dr. Ramesh, who is the secretary, honorary secretary. Good evening again, friends. I have been assigned the task of formally delivering a vote of thanks after this wonderful and informative session. I thank first the eminent speakers of the day, first Dr. Mohamed Hatha, for delivering such an informative session on this occasion. Starting from vital signs of climate change, he took us through some shocking statistics and many disasters, including fires and natural disasters, which occurred in the past 3 years, which will haunt us, of course, for a long time now. I also thank Colonel Sanjay Srivastava for delivering the second session of the day. Colonel, your statistics, specifically the 33% of people die due to lightning as a natural cause. It's a shocking statistic. And I personally enjoyed the myths and facts section and also the 5-second rule. These will all we will all remember all these points for a long time to come. So thank you, Colonel. I take this occasion to thank all the participants. We had around 110 at a point today. And this is one of the biggest participation which we have got from the Kerala chapter. So a big thanks to all the participants from the industries and the academia. And we look forward to similar participation in all our future programs also. Last but not the least, thanks to NSC office bearers under the leadership of Dr. Ramesh for facilitating this session. Thanks a lot and have a good day. Over to Dr. Ramesh. Thank you.
Okay, Dilip. Thanks a lot, Mohamed Hatha and Colonel Sanjay Srivastava. I enjoyed both the session with a lot of informations you have poured on us. I think this is the first time that we are having that World Environment Day, because whatever that we are doing, it is coming for the first time. Because on the 50th year of Safety Day, we converted to Safety Week. And Fire Services Day also we had observed in a week. And we have campaigned this World Environment Day with the webinar, as we could not go for a regular physical session because of the COVID regulation. Again on June 22nd, we are having behavior-based safety day program because we want to bring down the unsafe fact in whatever session, whether in the industry, whether in a school, whether in home, we have to bring down that unsafe fact. And we also had a webinar on April 28th, that is the World Day for Safety and Health at Work, that also we had. And on June 22nd to July 2, we are planning National Electric Safety Week, that also we are planning. So whatever the thing we will be planning currently only on webinar, we don't know what will be the status next week, because each week the lockdown is getting extended. So we don't know how it will be. So we will be planning webinar only. So we need all your support, sir, Hatha ji and Colonel ji. We need your support. National Safety Council Kerala chapter require your support. Thanks a lot for being with us on this day. Yeah, and my dear members, I thank you also for joining the session. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot,
Bye bye.
Kanalji.
Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Good
sir.
night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Colonel, your talk was very useful. Actually, very practical value. A lot of practical value in it. We really learned something which is useful to our lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. In fact, I would love to visit your university and interact. And please give me some researchers.
You're most welcome. I will actually get you in touch with one of the researcher in atmospheric sciences who is doing something on lightning related research. I know one guy. I don't know how active he is, but I know he is doing something on lightning research. I'll get in touch with him and pass on pass on your contact.
Thank you all. I'm officially ending the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, right. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.